Have you ever said or done something that you wish you could take back? Or do you find yourself continually repeating patterns that are stifling your growth or keeping you from living a happy, fulfilled life? We've all had those moments, but the good news is we don't have to keep going down that road. We can make the decision today to change it. Several years ago, I was coming home from a speaking engagement, and the plan was I was going to go pick up my youngest daughters, and then we were going to go across town to a volleyball game that my other girls were playing in. The time was very close. I had figured out the flight to get coming home from my speaking engagement that would give me enough time to pick up my girls and make it to the game. Well, you know how it goes sometimes with airlines. The flight was late, and I thought, man, of all times, this flight is late. I can't believe it. Long story short, I got home in just enough time that if I sped, I would make it to the game on time. Ran to my house, picked up my two youngest, started jetting towards the game, which was 40 minutes away. Well, I was not the biggest conversationalist in that car that day. In fact, the words that I spoke were very short. In fact, when my daughter Eliana asked me something, I remember answering her in a very sharp tone. And I remember that look on Ellie's face, and I thought, you know what, April, you got to do better. I didn't like the way I was acting, and so what I did was something that I've never done since, and I don't know why I did it then, but I was jetting to that volleyball game. I decided to pull off the highway. I parked the car. I got out of the car. I walked about 5 steps away, turned around and came back, opened that door, and gave my daughters the biggest hello, and glad to see them again, happy to be home. They looked at me like I was crazy, and I probably was a little bit crazy. I didn't like the way I was acting, and nothing was going to change unless I changed it. I had to decide that I wasn't going to keep acting the way I was acting if I wanted this situation to turn around for the better. The atmosphere in the car when I got back in with a happy face after my kids being shocked at what I just did was instantly better. It instantly got more joyful. It instantly got happy, and we were glad to be together. Steve Jobs said deciding what not to do is just as important as deciding what to do. See, deciding what not to do takes discipline. I knew in that situation I didn't want to act that way anymore. I was stressed out, but I had no reason to put that stress on my daughters. See, we have to be disciplined about what we respond and react to. We have to be disciplined about the words that we speak. Because the truth is, we all have bad moments. We all snap back and we yell and we overreact. I mean, how many times have we gone to bed thinking, man, I wish I wouldn't have acted that way? Or as moms, man, I wish I wouldn't have talked to my kids that way. Sometimes when we listen to those thoughts of, I wish I wouldn't have done this, those incidents convince us that we aren't a good parent. We aren't a good person. And when we feel like bad people, it doesn't make for a happy environment. It contributes to the overall unhappy, unhealthy atmosphere in our homes. The great news is we have the power to change that situation by how we act or react in the next moment. So here's some ways to change the situation. First of all, you have to recognize it. You have to recognize this is not something that's productive. My words that I'm speaking are not good. I recognize that this isn't the route that I want to keep traveling down. And then secondly, take responsibility. I'm not proud of how I've been acting. I'm not proud of how I've reacted. I'm not proud of how I'm speaking at the moment. Take responsibility. Remember, bad moments don't define you. Take responsibility, own it, and then number 3, do something to change it. We can't expect things to change for the better if we're not willing to do something that will actually create change. The fact of the matter is this: mistakes are inevitable. It's what we do to correct those mistakes that matters. And often a simple adjustment can make a huge difference. It makes me think of a story years ago when I was preaching. I was up on the stage, and I love shoes. If you've been listening to this, you know I'm a shoe lover. That's my love language. And I was preaching in some shoes that I had preached in before. They were good looking, they were cute, but this particular time they were hurting my foot like crazy. Just one of them, the right one. And the fact is, I never wear shoes that hurt me. I always wear shoes that are comfortable and I feel good in. That pain in my right foot was pretty severe, and I could not wait to get out of those shoes. And when I finally had a chance to remove the shoe when I was in my hotel room, I realized that the strap around my ankle had flipped over. And instead of the pin on the buckle going through the hole, it was actually poking into my skin. That explained the pain. That's what had been causing that pain all night long. That entire night, I'd experienced this aching pain, and the reality was I just needed to make a simple adjustment, and I would have felt relief immediately. Often, we can change our current situation by making a simple adjustment. Now, here's ways we can do that. We can decide to stay calm. Yes, I said that. We can decide to stay calm. In other words, we can make the decision that we're not going to allow the chaos around us to override the calm within us. We can also strive to stay positive even when negativity is surrounding us. And then we can let go of things that we can't control. It's wasted energy. It drains us. And then we have to remember not to get involved in battles that we don't belong in. You don't have to attend every argument you're invited to. See, you can't always change your circumstances, but you can change your perspective. You've got to pick what kind of human being you want to be. Do you want to be a complainer, a reactor, someone who yells, someone who's stressed and uptight and worried, or do you want to be the opposite? Whatever you aren't changing, you're choosing. If you don't like the way things are, change it. Don't allow a moment to turn into a monument. Do what you can today to not react, but instead respond. Use your words to speak kindly. And you know what? Just decide, I'm not going to attend those arguments. I'm going to be calm. I'm going to be cool. I'm going to enjoy this thing called life, and I'm going to enjoy those around me. Hope you've enjoyed it today. If you haven't subscribed, I would love for you to do that. And until next time, I hope you have an amazing day.